Why has Vladimir Guerrero Jr. found another gear in the playoffs as we also take a look ahead to game number 3? Hey everyone, welcome into Long Ball. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Blue Jays writer Rob Longley. And Rob, here we are with the Blue Jays one win away from sweeping the Yankees in the ALDS, I should say. They got to get to the ALCS with a win, but we'll give our thoughts on the game in just a moment. But wanted to start with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who you wrote about on Monday. And while there have been several times during the regular season where we were asking the question, what's wrong with Vladdy? The question right now is what's going right for Vladdy? He has completely changed the narrative around his postseason play in just these 2 games and is looking about as good as he has been at the plate pretty much all season. What do you make of what he has done so far in the postseason?
Yeah, he sure is, Rob. He's definitely playing at the best that he has in the entirety of 2025 so far. Really, it's somewhat remarkable, but in a way it's not. I think that of all the players that had the time off when the Jays secured home field advantage and had that extra week, extra 5 days, he probably benefited from it more than anybody. I mean, the pitchers certainly did by resting their arms. But what Vlad did was he reset a little bit. He exhaled. He sort of evaluated maybe what had gone wrong with him during the regular season. And more importantly, John Schneider spent some time with him. Vlad has pitching coaches in his ear all the time, but nobody knows Vlad Guerrero Jr. more than John Schneider. He's basically coached this guy for a decade. It started like when he was a teenager, and John Schneider was working his way up through the minor leagues as well as a manager. And they just sort of discussed some of the things that were happening with his swing. And people don't necessarily know this, but most days John Schneider throws batting practice to Vlad Guerrero Jr. too. So he sees him up close, like really up close, what's happening with his swing. So they talked about it and they worked on a few things. And I think the main point of emphasis from Schneider was, let's see what we can do to get your mechanics in such a place that you're going to start hitting the ball in the air again. And sure enough, that's exactly what has happened. I mean, both of those home runs that he hit were towering home runs. Great elevation on it, an arc that we haven't seen from him all season long. And now all of a sudden, with 6 hits and 9 at-bats through 2 games, 2 home runs, including a grand slam, 6 RBIs, all of a sudden, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is going to the plate with confidence. And when he's going to the plate with confidence and swinging like that, he's one of the most dangerous hitters in all of baseball. And I've said this all along, Rob. As impressive as the Jays' offense has been in its diversification, that being the main reason they've gotten to the point where they are, if this team really, really, really wants to make a deep run into the postseason, they're going to need the bat of Vlad Guerrero Jr. to carry the extra freight. And through 2 games of this ALDS, boy, has he ever done that.
Well, I think what's great, too, is, we've seen in the past, in the postseason, maybe there were times where he was pressing a little bit, trying to get the big moment and the big hit. And at least for this series, he's gotten it out of the way. He's actually one-upped himself in the first couple of games. So maybe there's a little less pressure on Vlad as we head into game number 3, where it'll be Shane Bieber getting the start, the prized acquisition at the trade deadline for the Blue Jays. It's been a bit of an up and down run here as a Blue Jay, Rob. There's been some really strong starts. There have been some other starts where maybe hasn't been as sharp, but this is a guy with a ton of experience. In fact, the last time he pitched in the postseason was in New York against the Yankees, so he is familiar with this territory. But what are you going to be looking for from Bieber, and what are you going to be looking for from the Blue Jays as we head into game number 3?
Yeah, I think it's a great big assignment for him, obviously, and I really like the way that the Jays sort of manipulated the order of the rotation for this series by giving the home start to Trey Savage, and of course, what a great show that was. People are still buzzing about that. But to do that, they pushed Bieber into the New York date, and for a lot of reasons, it makes a lot of sense. You mentioned one of them, Rob. He did pitch there in a postseason game in 2022. Essentially, he has, minus Savage anyway, he's kind of emerged as one of the co-aces on this squad after the trade deadline with Bassett and Barrios and who's the other guy? Oh, Max Scherzer, all left off of the ALDS roster. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's like they really need Shane Bieber to be in this situation. And when it comes to how he is suited for this assignment, I think of all of the guys on that rotation, he's probably the most even-keeled, the sort of the low heart rate guy in that group. He won't be phased by whatever happens at Yankee Stadium, and it could be the Bronx Zoo tonight. There's a pretty good chance of that. He remains even-keeled, whether he has a bit of success or whether he gets hit a little bit. And I think he's really built for the moment. And another thing I think that the Blue Jays like about him in this spot is they really hope and really expect that maybe he can give them a bit of length tonight. And by that I mean at least get through 6 innings somehow and maybe into the 7th. Because should the Jays falter and not get the job done in Game 3, and a Game 4 comes pretty darn quickly tomorrow night, that would be a bullpen night for the Blue Jays. So it's incumbent upon them to take care of business tonight, because when you have a team like that down, you have a wounded animal like the Yankees. Let's take care of business and make it a sweep. You want to avoid at all costs having this series go the distance. And the other thing too is if Bieber's good early on and gets a little bit of run support tonight at Yankee Stadium, I wouldn't be surprised if the denizens there get a little ugly on the home team. They're already quite upset, Yankees fans are, about the way things went in Toronto. And if the Blue Jays were to strike early tonight, it could be ugly for the home team at Yankee Stadium. So for all those reasons, Shane Bieber is sort of built for that moment, to steal the phrase of rookie Trey Savage, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how he handles it tonight. In a lot of ways, a rental player, a rental acquisition, but brought here for moments like tonight.
Well, they call it a Bronx cheer for a reason. So like you said, if things start to go south a little bit for the home squad, it could get ugly. But we'll see how it goes tonight. First pitch coming up just after 8 o'clock from the Bronx as the Blue Jays have the brooms out, looking to sweep the series in 3 games. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Rob Longley, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.